answer. Let's go 20 years from now. Let's go 20 years from now. It's 2041, okay?
Yeah.
2041. And you know how, for me, when I look at investments, you'll sit down with a client, you'll say, hey, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, if you put this $1 million in this account, if it does 12% in the next 40 years, your money is going to double every 6 years. This $1 million is going to be this much money. But at 8% is going to be this, at 6% is going to be this. Worst case scenario, if shit hits the fan, we do 4%, your money is going to double every 18 years, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, whatever, great. Take compound interest, but with power, not money. Take today, with the way compound interest works, with power and influence, not money. 20 years from now, the compounding effort of China, what does the world look like 20 years from now?
If we don't stop it, what's going to happen is, and I've already spoken to people about this, what will happen is people will begin to educate their children. These are the things you can say. These are things that you can't say.
In China you're talking about?
No, in the U.S.
No, in the U.S.
In the U.S.?
In the U.S. Because what will happen is, just like I talk about Roy Jones in my book, you say the wrong thing, you'll get fired from your job. You won't get into the good school. You won't get the good job. You won't be able to get a loan. You'll basically be cut out of the society. So this is what one of the guys that was an air attaché for People's Liberation Army, and talking to his family. The kid got here, I think, when he was 9, maybe, and then he grew up in U.S. schools to the age of 15. So as it came time they know they have to go back to China, then the mom has to say to him, these are the things you cannot say when we go back home. And and the reason I know this is because she's telling my wife, I'm really concerned because he has grown up in the system and he doesn't understand that he can't say these things. It's not okay. And it will be very bad for him. And so that's the world that we are producing. And it's a world that, as we get closer to China and we start to basically achieve that kind of control of the narrative, that narrative where there's you can say just about anything, but if you get over here, you're out. That's where we're headed, and so it will be a world where you train your kids not to say things that will damage your business, damage your reputation, make sure that they can't get into school, because you want your kids to succeed, right? So ultimately it's going to be if it continues, we're going to have a single party system here in the United States, and people will, just like Jackie Chan, want to be in that party, because if you're not in that party, you're not going to have a job. I mean, it's the same. It's a classic authoritarian system that this is how you start to migrate to. Just one party is in control, and that's what our founding fathers were terrified of. And by the way, that's why I quit the U.S. military, because I realized that there's no way that the military can do anything about this. It's really about data and information and control of the narrative. And since we don't control our information, we don't control our data, since the Chinese Communist Party has all of it. And oh, by the way, the Chinese leadership basically told this to Trump. They said, hey, we own all the data. We own your data, we own our data. You guys are done. Our AI is going to be way better than yours. You can sell us energy, you can sell us food, you can sell us raw materials if you do what we say. You don't do what we say, we're going to cut you out. And so that's the Belt and Road Initiative.
Social. Will we be able to have the same voice that we have? Will we be able to say what we're saying today? Will social media be the same 20 years from now?
Will this video stay up on
That's
YouTube?
That's the question, what you're thinking. Like, you think it's going to get to that point. Okay, but we're not there yet.
No, so the great thing that I see happening, and it's really accelerated in 2020 with the coronavirus, and now in 2021 with the buildup of China's military and the breaking heads and the blood will flow. Now people see, oh, I got it. I got what's going on. My hope, and it goes back to 2017 when she became the ultimate leader, my hope is that he is so much like Mao that we will wake up and then we'll say, okay, we've got to stop. We've got to come out of our slumber and we've got to fix the system. We've got to protect our system. We have to rebuild it. All the economic, the technological, the innovation, the capital. We need to invest. Like I was just talking to the California Employee Retirement System, all the chief investment officers, and I said, do you, CalSTRS, do you invest in your own community? No. Why? Where are you investing? We're investing in China. This is one of the biggest retirement systems in the United States. They don't have a program to invest in their own communities. This is a funnel. You remember Perot's giant sucking sound? The giant sucking sound is all the capital that's flowing in through Hong Kong into China, and not going in to build manufacturing, to build businesses. I mean, that's what's going on.
You know, it's crazy. All these policies when they said, "Oh, we're going to come out with, we're going to give trillions of dollars. We should give people money. Let's give people money. We should do that." Okay, great. So you gave the money, right? And the guy, I don't know who the money manager was. The guy's a $10 billion guy. He says, "Last year was my biggest year of creating wealth ever in my life." He says, "I'm so rich right now, I can't even tell you." He says,
don't even know what to do
with
it at all.
He says, what's crazy, what people don't realize, all that money that they gave to low and middle income families all flowed to the rich people.
Yep.
Because the low and middle income families don't have the right habits of what to do with the money, right? It's going to go up. What ended up also happening, fast forward to June of 2021, inflation is now up 5.4%.
Yep.
13-year high. Used car prices, I don't know if you saw that or not. The average car right now, if you want to buy it brand, was $40,000. The average used car price went up 30% in the last 12 months, meaning some people bought a car that is worth more today than 12 months ago when they bought it, because these chip shortages that they're having.
Yep.
And even Ford just announced they're going to produce 1.1 million fewer cars. It's going to cost for $2.5 billion. These are numbers that you're looking at. So many times you sit there and you look at these policies and like, oh my gosh, these noble guys, what they're doing, how amazing it is, how they're looking out for me. I think people gradually, and I like the fact that you're saying, because when you said people are starting to realize what these people are all about, how close he is to Mao, what American president can get away with that? If an American president said, if anybody tries to do this to us, we're going to break their skulls, their heads. What would happen if an American, you can't say something like that.
Can't say it.
And it's never been said like that.
And you can't go against the Chinese Communist Party. We saw that. When Trump went against the party, he lost. Period.
When Trump went against
the party. His biggest sin was to go against China. That's his biggest
sanctions after sanctions after tariffs after tariffs after
bingo.
Tariffs. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.